Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. Joining us today from the Dyslexia Training Institute is Tracy Block-Zareski. She's a founder of the Institute. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much, Jose.
I'm so glad to have you as our first guest ever on Literacy for All. I have to ask you first because, we have a history working together in the adult literacy field, but something inspired you and your business partner, Kelly Sandman-Hurley, Dr. Kelly Sandman-Hurley.
Correct.
To start the Dyslexia Training Institute. What made you change from the work that you were doing? What inspired you to start the Institute?
Well, as you know, Kelly and I worked at Read San Diego, the adult literacy program for the San Diego Public Library, and worked with lots of adults who were not successful in our school system and obviously quite intelligent and able to learn, but weren't successful in learning to read and write. And in working with them, we learned about dyslexia and it being the most common print-based disability there is, and learned that people with dyslexia have the ability to learn to read and write, but that they need the specific type of instruction to help them learn. And in working with them and learning about dyslexia and trying to get training ourselves and learning how hard it was to get training, but also that our teachers in our school systems are not being trained about what dyslexia is, how to identify it, how to help kids who have dyslexia. Our school psychologists aren't being taught, our school administrators. We know this isn't a teacher problem, but a teacher training problem, a problem with training our psychologists that identify these kids. So we decided, well, there's this problem existing. We don't want to keep this funnel of kids growing up and ending up in adult literacy programs. So we're like, let's solve this problem and provide online courses that anybody can access. Parents can access, educators, private practitioners, to learn about what dyslexia is, how to remediate it with the appropriate approaches, how to advocate for kids with dyslexia. And we started it just to make it available west of the Rockies because we thought it was just a West Coast kind of problem. And in reality, it's really a problem all over the United States. And we have actually learned that we have people from all over the world that are benefiting from our online courses.
So I'm learning more as we go along because I always thought in terms of there are people out there who are looking for help, like moms and dads who are looking for help for their kids or themselves. But you're also helping educators.
Absolutely. In fact, most of the people that take our courses are educators because they so desperately want to help these kids. And it's not just general ed teachers, it's special ed teachers and reading specialists who did not receive this type of training in their training programs. And so the great majority of our clients on our online courses are educators. However, we also have lots of parents, and we also have our conference, and we have 2 centers in San Diego where we provide direct service, and that's where we see parents a lot.
Exciting. So what are the main differences between what parents might access in your training programs online versus what teachers are getting? Is it the same thing, similar?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, anybody can take any of our courses. I would say our parents and educators both take our What is Dyslexia just to learn about what it is. And then we offer training in remediation. That tends to be more the educators or private practitioners. But sometimes parents are doing it just because there's nobody in their area. There are not enough people out there that understand dyslexia and how to appropriately teach kids and adults with dyslexia. So a lot of times parents are, in a rural situation or even in a big city where there just aren't enough practitioners that are trained in this, that the parents are like, well, then I'm going to learn this myself. Amazing. And help my own kid. And then they end up tutoring other kids on top of it. So it's a win-win.
That's incredible. Just in terms of the background of the parents, are you hearing from people from all backgrounds? Because,
Absolutely. Absolutely. All socioeconomic backgrounds. Also, all different types of geography. It's, dyslexia doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate against income. It does not discriminate against gender. It doesn't discriminate against age. It's, just across the whole spectrum.
You would have people, and I say this because it has occurred to me, say that, well, golly, this teaching stuff is really complex. How are you going to teach it to a parent maybe who has never finished high school or gone to college? How do you respond to that?
Well, there's a lot of people that will say teaching reading is rocket science, and I will agree to them to some degree, but it doesn't mean that you can't learn how to do it. And we on our online courses, you can learn about, train in both Orton Gillingham, which is the most widely known remediation in the dyslexia world, but also we train in structured word inquiry, which is relatively new in the dyslexia world, but it isn't anything new. It's based on linguistics. And because it's an online format, you can move at your pace. It is interactive, not live interactive, but it is interactive with instructors. And we provide the supports. It's doable. It's definitely doable.
That's very exciting because you're bringing something that we typically see as lay people as being complex and requiring a lot of background. But what you're doing is you're making it accessible to moms, dads, again, and then educators who didn't get this the first time around. We have to come to the question about how we're preparing our teachers to teach in a world where 16% of the students are going to have some kind of learning difference. Is that a good number?
There's lots of different statistics out there about reading disabilities. If we're going to talk specifically about reading disabilities, because there's other types of learning disabilities. And you're right. A lot of people say, really, it's a difference. It's not a disability. A rose is a rose. Let's address the rose. Right. And I agree in some degree. I mean, my own child has dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, ADD combined type, executive functioning deficit. I mean, he's got a lot going on, and he's capable of learning. So it is really just a learning difference because he's capable of learning, but they need the right type of instruction. So when we can provide the appropriate training for those people, for educators, they would be addressing all those kids, whether they have a learning difference or not. But depending upon whose research you're reading, it would be as low as most research will say somewhere between 10 and 20% or 10 and 15%. Some will go a little above 20%, some will go a little below 10%. But generally, at the Dyslexia Training Institute, we usually say it's between 10 and 15% of the general population has a print-based disability.
Got it. Well, we often talk about the confidence level being an issue with students, that as soon as they learn that they can learn, as soon as they're interacting with folks who can help them out, they get stronger at what they do. You referenced a couple of times right now capability, and I'm sure there's listeners who are saying, whoa, because maybe after a period of time you start feeling like this person can't learn, but you're saying the capability is there. I mean, I know there are going to be some cases that are harder, people are harder to help, but that they still have the ability or the capability to emerge as readers or deal with their particular learning disability. Absolutely.
And actually, a lot of times what happens with these kids in schools is they get labeled as lazy, not applying themselves, that they are unmotivated. And really it's that they are often have become frustrated that, I've been trying and they've been trying harder than their peers and they're just not making progress. Where if they would have been identified young, the younger we identify them, the better. And there's really good screening tools out there to start identifying these kids in kindergarten, first grade, as to if they have risk factors. And even if it's not that they have a learning disability, they have the risk factors, let's apply the appropriate instruction, because the instruction you use for kids with dyslexia works for everybody. So it's not like if you identify a kid as at a risk factor and you start providing the appropriate instruction, you're going to do any damage because they really don't have dyslexia. You're just going to help them learn faster. And so, they have the ability to learn. It's really important, though, that while our kids are learning, that they're getting their remediation, but they're also getting the appropriate accommodation so they have access to grade level content and the ability to produce grade level content because they're intellectually capable. And if we want to keep that frustration level down, let's put the things in place to help them be successful.
Very good. Now, I just heard you say that if we produced instructional materials that were accommodating to individuals who might have a learning disability, we're going to help everybody. Mm-hmm. So it's a safety net in a sense.
Absolutely.
How are we doing in the world of publishing to respond what you and maybe I'm asking you a question. It's a little bit tough, but and I like to just have my own experience, right? What's out there, and am I looking at things that are catering to all populations? Because pretty much, in my thinking, where we're falling short is that we don't have enough sensitivity to this particular population that simply just needs certain things to happen for them in the learning setting. So what do you see in publishing? Is there anything that you're noticing that's differently, or anything that you would prescribe?
Well, that's a loaded question. There's a lot of challenges with curriculum in that it doesn't really represent our language the way it's structured. We, our dream is that we can work with some publishers to get more accurate information for teaching our kids, but that really, if we could start addressing this at the university levels, that would be where we can start getting our universities to work with our linguistics departments. One of the dreams that would be fantastic is if the linguistics departments would work with our education departments that are training our teachers to teach them about the underlying structure of language so they can accurately teach it to our kids.
Very good. I want to have more discussion on that, because that's it's one of the places where naturally we'll go. In the same way that educators are being attracted to what you're doing. So one, there's a need at the start, and there's a need where people have been engaged already, and they're not doing the things that they want to do. Anyway, we'll be right back. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy, and you're listening to Literacy for All. This is our show powered by WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk, and we'll be back with Tracy Blog-Zaretsky from the Dyslexia Training Institute.
Are you a small business or nonprofit? Securing Our eCity Foundation offers free cybersecurity seminars so businesses of every size can become more cyber safe. According to Forbes, just one cybercrime incident can cost a company over $15 million. Protect yourself, your employees, and your business before you fall victim to the nation's fastest growing crime. Go right now to securingourECity.org or call 619-630-2444.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book, Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourECity.org or call 619-630-2444. securingourECity.org, 619-630-2444. securingourECity.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.